Right, so Keith from...
Hiya Thomas, are you well?
I'm good, Keith. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not so bad, thank you very much. Thanks for asking. Just firstly, I know you spoke a lot about Christian Eriksen recently, but we obviously heard from him for the first time in his interview last night. Firstly, how is he? And am I right in assuming that he's not quite yet available for the weekend?
I think he's fine. I think the first interview were on our own channel, so earlier this week. But yes, he's fine. He's training well. He looks like the quality player we know he is. It's a joy watching him play football. I must say, so natural for him. So that's fantastic to see. But you're right, Keith. He will not be available for the team tomorrow. That would always be too early after just 1 week. We'll have a friendly game on Monday where you play minutes, and that's the right way to do it.
Apologies if you have answered this in previous press conferences, but have you got a date in mind for his return?
No. Of course, if you ask me, I'm a coach. I want the best players on the pitch. I will always say as soon as possible. So I think first week ticked in terms of training, physical load, how he looks, how he feels. Next week, very important, especially playing these minutes with match intensity, 11 versus 11, and then we'll assess him day by day.
You and your team, Thomas, have done so much this season to put Brentford on the map across the globe. Some of the performances and the way you've gone about it has been really good to see. How much do you feel Christian can add to that even further? Like we saw the amount of shirt sales that there's been in the opening weeks since he signed. So how much can he add to that as well?
Yeah, hopefully a lot. That's the plan. There's no doubt that he got great quality and abilities on the ball in terms of finding that pass or that ball in behind or that cross or taking good decision on the pitch in terms of keeping the ball. In that area, that would be a huge upgrade for us. And it's nice to see that every single time we do a drill, we see there's just some standout moments and quality, and that's what we need. If it's crosses or passing behind or good actions. So no, definitely he will add to the team.
I remember talking to you at the start of the season, Thomas, when things were going so well and the wins were following one after the other. I vividly remember you saying that challenges are going to come as the season progresses. Do you feel you're in that period right now, having gone 5 matches in a row without a win?
Yeah, I feel that. Definitely. Let me think. There was also where we lost 4 games, I think.
Yeah.
But similar, the performances were solid, good. And that's the same now. Of course, I think all coaches, all players will be more confident after they won 4 or 5 games in a row. But for me, it's all about the performances. If they are consistent and at a high enough level, I will always be calm, because that's what we believe in. It's such a random game, football. For example, David's mistake he made against City. How often does he do that? This random is coming in that game. He could have come in a game where we were up 2-1, where maybe it doesn't matter that much. So can we keep consistently putting these performances in, consistently being brave, aggressive, cool? As I said to the players before today, I think it's so important, the approach we have to every game. We go in, we believe we can win. I think that was one of the best examples is the first half against Man United, against a world-class team, world-class players, manager, and the way we did that first half. Wolves again. It's a performance that should easily maybe give 3 points, but at least a draw. And if it should be an narrow win as us, so can we repeating that? Then I will never be worried.
And just finally from me, when you look at the league table now, and obviously you have lost the 5 in a row, but if someone had given you this situation at the start of the season where you are, given the fact you're a newly promoted team? You look at the league table, you probably would have taken it, wouldn't you, where you are right now?
Yes and no. I always hope for more. I always believe in the team. Before the season started, I had such a big belief in the team and this group of players, the club, that I was convinced that we do well. I think we have done. I think we've been really hard done by injuries and COVID situations. That spoiled that rhythm that every team need to hit a consistent good level. So I think if we hadn't had that, I think we would have been in an even better place. But when that is said, I agree with you. I think we are in a fine position. We want more. We want to push, and of course, we badly want to win. I definitely prefer to win tomorrow, but it's football. We need to turn up, be brave, show we love playing in front of our fans.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Keith.
Pete Colley next, please.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi, Pete.
It's fantastic to see Christian Eriksen back and hear of him in training. But if we can go back to the Euros, do you remember where you were and what your thoughts were when Christian was on the pitch there suffering cardiac arrest?
Yeah, I was in my summer house. Oh, not my house, summer house. My mother-in-law, she would be very angry. But my mother-in-law's summer house, I think it's mine, but it's not. With my two oldest children, watching the game. And I clearly remember the situation, obviously, because I could just see instantly when he dropped to the ground. It was not naturally. You were just not falling over, for tips or whatever. And then after that, of course, it was maybe not chaotic for me, but it was, a shocking feeling and circumstances, being a lot on the phone with different people. And then, of course, it was so good to see him being alive and relatively well, relatively quick after the incident.
Having suffered that, you couldn't blame anybody from having a bit of trepidation, exertion following that. Have you seen him get over that in training, or do you sense that there isn't any?
I don't sense there is anything. I must say he's bubbling. I think we're having him 7 months after the incident, so we just miss badly to be part of a group, be part of a club and hopefully a unique story, that we can write new chapters to the Brentford story. He loved to be with the boys, being on the grass, playing football. He's one of those where he needed to touch the ball all the time. So when drill is done and I start talking, and as soon as we, we start again, he needs just to touch a ball or something like that. So he's just enjoying it. He's bubbling, just want to play football.
Now, following Man City the other night, you kept talking about mistakes, and you played well but made mistakes. How do you cut mistakes out in training? I'm intrigued.
Good question. I wish I knew. Now I think the two mistakes we made against City were big personal mistakes that need to be avoided, and also not having that often. As I just mentioned before, David, I remember one incident in the last 3 years where he played for us where he made a similar mistake. So if that's the if that's the amount of time he'll do that in 3 years' time, then I like to that down to one, because if you don't try things, then you will never make mistakes. So I think that's important, to keep doing those things. And then, for example, against Everton, where we played, where we conceded 4 goals, there was other small mistakes, because you can always blame someone for each goal you concede. But there were a situation where it goes quick, and we try to adapt it, and try to solve it going forward. But the individual mistakes, we need to cut out the big ones, and then the rest. I think you can see we work on things. So we conceded 2 set piece goals against Everton, and we worked on and adjusted it for City. They had more set pieces than Everton. we looked very strong. Everyone knew what to do, competitive, disciplined, and the same in open play. So we try to constantly work on it. I think it's a working process.
Just finally from me, because of the games that you've played, Thomas, of the teams around you, are you in this relegation battle, do you think?
I like to don't look too much back or too much forward. So I think about one thing, that's doing everything we can to win against Palace tomorrow, get a top performance out there. And as I said before, brave, aggressive, cool. That's my aim. Of course, I know the table. I'm not spending time looking at it. So once after each round, so but besides that, it's waste of time. It's about how we can optimize the team and the performance.
Good to speak to you. Good luck.
It's good to look. Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, Brentford.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, Thomas. How are you?
Good, Ian. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Yeah, very well. Just give us an idea of the lift that Christian Eriksen's arrival has given to the rest of your squad.
Definitely a lift. Is that bubbling atmosphere around the place, and they all know that he's a quality player. He's a great character, but just giving to the group, which I like. We did some offensive set pieces extra Tuesday before the City game, and then he just went down to those 3 or 4 players and looked what they were doing. He's interested, coming with his ideas. Of course, when he's going to play for us, he will be a key part of that. But it was not planned that he had to do anything, especially the first week. There's a lot of condition work and bits and pieces to do extra. But he's just interested, open, he's really like being here. So yeah, very good, very good.
I guess for most of them, he's the best player they've ever played with.
Yeah, I think you're right. Depending on, yeah, most likely is up there for a lot of the players. Definitely. So of course it's a big thing for everyone, and then of course there's a few Danish players that, especially the younger ones, that Christian, he just sat down with them, having lunch, and he's just the number 1 of Denmark, the football team. So I think that is he's blending in fantastic with the group.
Is there anything as well that your medical team are having to do differently with him because of his condition?
No, of course there is some bits the first couple of weeks with what's it called, that bit he's having in his heart, ICD, yeah. They just need to take some measurements to make sure everything is fine. After that, it'll be automatic, everything. So of course we are prepared a bit more, how can you say, cautious. Not in things we do in Christian, he's all cleared, but we are just more aware, and there needs to be a certain amount of staff on the ground all the time he's here. But besides that, everything is normal, I would say.
You probably need 4 wins to stay up. Is this weekend a really good opportunity to get one of those out of the way?
Are we allowed to get more than 4?
You're allowed to get as many as you like. You can go and win the last 17 games if you want.
Thank you. I don't know with those numbers. Of course, I'm aware that people are speaking about it. Again, my main focus, and I think it's crucial. Honestly, it's so important that today was the most important day because we had to train well, prepare well for Palace. Tomorrow is going to be so important because we need to get out there, perform, put a performance out there, produce high energy, intensity again. And I agree with you. I think we have a chance to win. I know it'll be difficult against a team I think have done well this season, Palace. I think they have some very interesting players. both Olise and Zaha are key players. Eduardo, Mateja, Benteke, Gallagher have been doing fantastic for them. So we know it's going to be a tough challenge, but we are looking forward to it. We're ready. If we can perform like we've done recently well, I would say through the season, but hit those very good, solid, hopefully top performance, we'll be fine.
And final one from me. I haven't looked at the list of players that are playing tomorrow. You haven't shown me that yet. But I'm assuming that Ivan Toney, if fit, will play. This will be his first game at home in front of the supporters since his break and his little indiscretion. Does he owe them a performance tomorrow?
I think all the players owe the fans performances every single time they step out there. I don't think that anyone can relax. We play for the fans, for the club, for everyone who's involved in it. Those are the one that means the most for us. Of course, Ivan is one of those players, and he needs to perform well. He needs to do that every single time. Yeah.
Good one. See you soon. Thanks again.
Thank you. You're welcome. See you, Ian.
Phil Carroll.
Thomas, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Phil. How are we?
Good, thank you. Hope you're well. Just a couple, really. I was asked actually about Crystal Palace and what I thought that the lessons of Crystal Palace over the last few years that could be applicable to Brentford. When you look at a club like Palace, do you think there are lessons to be learned both from squad building and from what you do with the team as well as the club that you can use to take forward to build a sustainable sort of Premier League stature for Brentford?
Yeah, I think they have done well, I must say. Crystal Palace recent years, building that solidness in the squad and in the club, that they're a very competitive Premier League club. They made, I would say, a relatively big change this season, because Roy decided that he wanted to retire, which he decided not to again, coming into the game, which is fantastic for the game. I love that he's out there. He got that passion. To a different kind of manager in VR that is doing a great job, I would say. I'm quite impressed that they are more aggressive and high pressing, and I like especially when it clicked with their front five-ish, the three strikers and the 2-8s. I think they're really difficult to play against, and we know that Olise and Zaha then can produce out of nothing. So the way they also invested a lot of money, I would say, this summer in younger promising players. So they have done a really good job, and I think they are a club that can progress further the coming years. And to answer a little bit more in detail, I think they are a club that we would like to get closer to. I think it's fair to say that they are ahead of us. They are a very experienced Premier League club, done well. So we need to learn from everyone.
And sort of what they've done really, as you say, with the appointment of Patrick, he's changed their approach and their style. Roy had a very, very effective way of dealing with the side. Patrick has come to impose his sort of style. Have you been impressed with the way that the transition has been made? And yes, they would like more points. They probably think they should have more points, but they've made a transition to a different way of playing somewhat, which the players seem to enjoy. And it's been pretty smooth so far.
Yeah, I agree. I have been impressed, I must say. I think it's and we don't have many games to make sure it works as managers or head coaches, and he's done well. And I agree. I think they've been unlucky not having more points. I think they had some really, really good performances, and a big thing. I think they are a threat in every game because they have that offensive quality and talent in their squad. And we haven't seen SA at his highest this season as well. He did a top job last year. I really like him. So I think they have more to, how can you say, they can develop the team even more. They can do even better. But with the age and the profile of the squad, I think it's a very interesting team they have.
Take it, Alex.
Afternoon, Thomas. I hope you're good. Just wanted to double check on Ivan's fitness, if that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hi, Jay. Good to see you. I thought there was coming an extra one. He's been assessed very light bit out there today. He will be assessed in the morning. Hopefully he's ready because obviously he's one of our most important players.
So did you say he did like a light bit of training today?
Yeah, light session today. Yeah.
And then just on Brian and Johan, how are they feeling? Are they in a position to potentially start tomorrow now?
Yeah, both of them should be available for a potential start. So that's positive. Both of them were out with COVID and hadn't trained consistently. That's why we decided not to start them. Of course, everyone can get out there and run around, but for our standards for Premier League match, there need to be a few more trainings to make sure that they're put gradually into the back to top level.
That's good to hear they might be back. I know you're not on social media and you did kind of touch on it a minute ago, but the fans seem to think that tomorrow is a must-win game. So you're kind of aware of that feeling and that pressure? You're just trying to put it on one side and just focus on what you can control?
I didn't know that. I'm not on social media, so I haven't read that. I think what is a must-win game? I think that's an interesting question. I know it's something that fans and experts and maybe you guys want to put out on certain games. I have it this way. I want to win every possible game we are going into. I think we have a very good chance tomorrow against a good side. One thing I promise is that we will get out there and we will be brave, we'll be aggressive, it'll be cool, and we will give it everything. I also have a feeling that with the performance we put in, and we haven't, I think we put performance in where we on the paper deserved more than we got back. And I'm sure that the day where we, it's really click and the ball is dropping for us in these situations, you need that little lock of the margin going your way. I think we will hit a really, really top performance. Hopefully that's tomorrow. We will give everything, just like, as you said, with the fans, Jay. I think our fans need to be bang on it. They can't be, because it's not one of the biggest clubs. Every single game in the Premier League is a massive game for us because it's our first season here. So we need to get out there and perform fantastic in every game. And tomorrow is another big game, and we're looking forward to it.
So obviously when you played Crystal Palace last, it was only the second game of the season. So you were still getting used to the league. You didn't really know what to expect from Crystal Palace. So what have you kind of learned about Patrick Vieira's tactics and what do you kind of expect from them tomorrow?
I expect that they it's funny, I watched our game back this morning and watched 3 other games last night afternoon. And the comparison between our game last time and the 3 other games were, I would say, same style of play in terms of being more aggressive, more front-footed, more high pressing, and also that they wanna build and they wanna be possession-based. They obviously just do it a bit better than the second game. So there's a big task ahead of us, but we're ready for it. And I also think that we can create trouble the other way, of course.
And then a final question from me. Obviously, apart from the 2 mistakes against Man City, the defensive performance was really good, really good at defending set pieces as well. So have you kind of told the players with Brian that that's like the minimum level that you expect from games going forward?
Yeah, I actually thought that we nailed that, especially with the defensive set pieces after our games against United Wolves, because I thought we had before that, it was not good, but also on offensive set pieces. And then we had a setback against Everton. So I would say to you, Jay, that I agree that the City game on defensive set pieces, top. Defensive performance, really good. It's 2 big mistakes we make. And I also think the Wolves game, defensive performance, really good. You're giving two chances shot away on the edge of the box. If that's the kind of chances you're giving away consistently over time, that would be a lot of clean sheets. But it's that performance, it's that determination we need to show tomorrow, and I'm 100% sure the players will show that.
Thank you, Thomas, and good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you, Jay.
Right, so last in this section, be Killian, please. If you'd... Killian.
Hi, Killian. How are we?
Good, thanks. Just on Christian, as a Dane, would you like to see him at the World Cup?
Chris, sorry, say again, Killian. Just say it again, Killian.
I think he said, would you like to see him at the World Cup?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yes, massively. I think if Eriksen is going back to his normal level, his top level, he is our number one player. So I can't imagine anything else that we know he wants to come, but also Kasper wants him in the team and want to play him as a Danish person. We need him. We want him in the team.
And it was very interesting. Excuse me. It was very interesting to hear your breakdown of Man City's attack and how you look to counter it. And you mentioned today, like, how important it was to train well. I was wondering, what is your style of management on the training ground in terms of preparation?
I'll give an example today. We have analysis of Crystal Palace, of course, show that to the players. It was 13 minutes, I think, something like that. 18 clips. So try to make it so clear and precise. What are the strength, weaknesses of diff in terms of our style of play, high pressure, low pressure, how we build up in phase one, how we build up in phase two. So a few clear examples of what we want and how we think we can hurt them, and what we want against them, and how we think they can us if we don't do it well enough. Then we have set pieces. Then we a meeting about that. But on the pitch, then we prepared. There's a few individual talks I have with the tactic boards with some of the players, and then we go on the pitch and do the 11v11 where we walk through some bits, and then we play with maximum intensity in other bits. And of course, I need to minimize it on a day like this with a short turnaround. But that's the way I explain calm, how I want it to be, but fitting into our principles and style of course.
And you mentioned on the training ground there, do you like to, in terms of our man management style, in implementing, let's say against City, before then, how certain defenders should react to their attack?
Yeah, of course. It depends a little bit. I do some one-to-one talks briefly if there's a comment or two. For example, against City, I knew that Pontus Jansson were the key player in terms of how their crosses will come in. So they didn't come under him, so he couldn't step too high. So that's tiny bit of detail. So that is with 2 or 3 players, and then the last bit, because it needs to be the overall how can you say, principles of how they are attacking. But for example, tomorrow we know that Zaha is wants to go inside and shoot on his right foot. I think that's very common knowledge. So I show that, of course. Today we didn't train against this, but tomorrow I'll reinforce it, especially if you start on the pitch. And depending on if Benteke, for example, is starting tomorrow, then I will give extra words tomorrow when we have the lineup.
And just finally, when you were starting out in coaching, or even now, which managers maybe inspired you or helped form your own style of management?
I think that my own, it's more, I say more tactics, I would say that they have inspired me. In terms of the man management, I think I found out pretty early that I was a people person, that I like to speak to players or people, and of course then you can get inspired by others that do that. But that was a style I was pretty sure on, that just had to constantly develop. But in terms of tactics, of course, I looked at some of the greater managers. Of course, I think everyone looked at Guardiola in the Barcelona time. That was a big thing. I looked more at Klopp in the Dortmund time with the pressing. Diego Simeone, the low block in Atletico Madrid. But also a type like Conte. I liked his structure in the way he's doing things with his team. So a lot of these guys, but that could be anyone. You know, when I look games, if I see some little tweak, then I get inspired.
Thank you, Thomas.
You're welcome.
Right, so we're now under embargo for 10:30 this evening.